Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kimi, and today I just wanted to share why I deleted and deactivated my Twitter account today. I've been on Twitter for 12 years. I was following bands and artists that I wanted to keep track of, and I thought it was just going to be a great tool to be like, hey, they're in Canada now, and like, hey, like they're coming to South Africa, so we should get tickets and stuff. So that was my prime motivation. Little did I know how insane social media would become in the years to follow. I don't really remember the descent into like when everything went to crap. 2011, when I graduated from high school in South Africa, to 2014, I really wasn't on Twitter. But when I got back onto Twitter, like it was a different beast. And I noticed this whole clapback mentality had developed. It wasn't really until like 2015 or 2016 that I really got back onto Twitter, like, as a more involved user of the app. And there was this quote retweet format where people would only just retweet to speak against what was below it. Like the whole clapback mentality was really taking root. Everyone just wanted to negate what someone had already said, not just in the format of quote retweets, but also in the replies. Like replies would only be centered around the wrong thing. There was such an attraction to what was negative and what could be pointed out and what could be poked and prodded and pulled apart. At first it was very jovial, it was very lighthearted, and it was very much centered around jokes and humor, and Twitter just evolved into this negative bias hub. When 2020 hit, I noticed a few things. I was only getting any sense of value, any knowledge of the world from Twitter, but Twitter primes you for how you are to view the world. I just noticed that the way they were framing a lot of the events that occurred in 2020 were all from one side. It was one-sided. I thought it was a neutral platform, but it was one-sided. And a lot of the stories that popped up on the right-hand side when you log in on the web app, primed and written in such a way that they clearly favored one side. And then that informed the way conversations happened in the center, meaning like the tweets. It was kind of based off of that right-hand side like panel that told you about the news of the day, and then people kind of took their cue as to what they needed to talk about. And so that really disturbed me a lot, because we weren't being set off to talk about things in the right way. We're being primed for a certain discussion and then thinking that we have the agency to bring originality to the table, but we're really kind of being set up psychologically beforehand for the conversations that we're about to have on the app in 280 characters or less. So I didn't like that at all. And then I kind of imploded on Twitter in 2020. I was just like obsessed with the Epstein case and finding Ghislaine Maxwell, so much so that once she was found and caught, I just dipped out. But during that time of dipping out, I felt so much peace and just like a new sense of reality, so much so that I think I had my eyes open to so many things, especially about myself and who I am as a person. Twitter for 12 years was a huge part of my psyche. And when I took that break in 2020 for about 9 months, I was able to regain so much more in terms of having my fear levels decreased, first of all. Second of all, having a sense of objectivity about the world and just a sense of peace through that objectivity about certain events, not just like in my life, but also in my world around me, and with the people with whom I live and like work and kind of share my existence with. I really want to encourage you. Also look up the concept or the term Anhedonia. I'll see if I can throw up like a definition here or something, and you can pause it if I do. But basically that's the inability to have pleasure or to sense pleasure. You've literally given yourself all the candy, if so to speak, So much so that your body can't even enjoy pleasure because it just gets so much of it. Yeah, Twitter and social media in general gives me that hit every time I see a notification pop up. And I realize that I might be better off if I just have some self-control in different areas. 80/20 principle, right? Like, it wasn't really yielding that much in my life, even though I dedicated so much time to it. Like, it might have not been an intentional dedication of time, but like, it still took away a lot of my time during the day. I would say, like, when I was really steeped in it, and even this week, I would have maybe like 5 hours a day spent on Twitter. And it doesn't seem, it's not like one chunk of it. It's like from morning, like checking it consistently, like, lunchtime, after lunch, like in between chores, in between work, like in between tasks, and then before bed. Huge chunks of time over many days and then over many weeks for however many years does add up to a huge chunk of your life. But what were the returns? There were like no returns. I couldn't tell you anything significant that came out of Twitter. Like, for me, like, nothing has ever come out of Twitter apart from likes and retweets. So for me, like, it really, 80/20 principle, like, it really wasn't part of that 20% that yielded 80% of the results. For me, that would be like other platforms, but Twitter was really just the thing I spent so much time on that brought nothing back whatsoever. I'd rather just give my attention to something that at least yields some positive returns with the negative. Twitter for me was just all negative. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll share a lot more opinion videos. I don't know if the subscribe button is here or there. Also, be sure to follow me on social media. Funny thing, I'm talking about social media, I'm like, follow me on social media. Follow me on Instagram at KimberlyKatiti, or my art page at KimberlyKatiti art. The links are in the description below. And leave a comment. Have you left social media? Are you planning to leave social media? Do you think there is a point in staying on Twitter? Or do you think Twitter has just completely lost the plot and it's literally wired us for a different sort of existence and social relationship with one another? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.